Hey guys, Shockwave here. I'm going to be teaching you how to use Imminent Monitor's new plugin system. So I'm going to be going over the basics of the plugin system. I won't be going over everything as the plugin system is far too large, but I'm just going to teach you how to make a very basic plugin. So you want to make a project in either Visual Basic, Visual C#, or Visual C++. Today I'm just going to be using Visual Basic, so we want to make a class library. I'm going to name it Remote Desktop Plugin, because that's what we're going to be doing today. So straight off, we want to save the project and rename this to Remote Desktop Server. And go ahead and add a new project, same as before, a class library, and make it Remote Desktop Client. Okay, so I'm just going to rename these classes to main, because that's just what I like to do. Okay, so we're going to start off in the server. So what we're going to want to do is add a reference. Go ahead and browse. So basically, we want to use server plugin because that's we're doing it on the server side. So you'll find both of these DLLs in the root directory of Imminent Monitor when this update comes out. So I'm going to go ahead and add this as a reference and import the namespaces globally. And I'm going to do the same for the client. Import the namespaces globally so we don't have to do it. Okay, so first off, on the server side, we're going to do the GUI. So first of all, we'll implement iServer main, and this will generate a few events for you, and I'll go over those a little later in the tutorial. So for now, I'll just wrap them around a region. Okay, now that we've done that, you must create a constructor. This is needed for every plugin. Only once, but it's needed for every plugin. So we'll actually create a new module called global variables. This is where we'll keep everything that we need. So in global variables, we want to store an instance of iServer actions and iServer GUI. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So we have iServer network actions and public iServer, just server GUI actually, as iServer GUI. Okay, now that we have those instances, we can, on the constructor, create network actions with an underscore as a parameter. Same thing for the GUI. Okay, so now we need to make our instances in global variables equal these. Oops, sorry. Okay, so now we can start making our GUI. So we'll make a new method called initialize GUI, and here we can create a new context item to add to Imminent Monitor's main context menu strip. So we can go ahead and start by declaring a new context item. And we can start setting the properties here. So c.name will equal just remote desktop, and the icon, we need to add a new resource. So I'll go ahead and get the icon that I want. Remove this line of code actually, and I'll get a resource here. Okay, so this is the icon that I want to show on the context item. Now it's added to resources, I'll save the project and build it. Okay, so we'll do c.icon equals my.resources.remote desktop. Oh, sorry about that. I implemented an old version of the server plugin. One moment. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I just had to update my resource to a newer piece of code, but now this works. So as you see, c.icon is a image. So now we can create our clicked callback. So when this context item gets clicked, so I'll just name this context item clicked, and it will have to take a iServer client array. So we'll just clients as iServer client array. Okay, so now that we have that, we can go ahead and do c.clicked equals address of context item clicked. Okay, so that's our basic GUI done. So now we'll go ahead and add a new folder for our forms. So we'll have a Windows form. I'll just name this form main. Resize it. Rename this to remote desktop plugin. Switch to Verdana because almost all of Imminent Monitor uses the Verdana font. I highly suggest that you use it, but if you don't, it's no big deal. So now we can add a picture box. This is where we'll see our images coming through on the remote desktop. And we'll add 2 buttons, which will signal the remote desktop stopping and starting. Okay, so now we can go ahead and create a new constructor here. Remove the comments. Okay, and we want to add a global variable in form main named just simply client as iServer client, and we want to take a client in the subnew. This is so we can access the client that's selected. So client equals client. Okay, so now in main, on context item clicked, we'll go ahead and just check if client's length is equal to 0, and if it is, we'll just return because we don't want to do anything. Okay, so now we want to actually make a global instance of form main. So public form main handle as form main. We're not going to set it to a new instance yet because that would actually throw an error. So form main handle equals new form main handle. Oh, just new form main, sorry. And clients 0. So this will get the first selected client. And then we can just go ahead and call form main handle.show. And this will now show form main, and it will have access to the current client. I guess while we're here, I'll just quickly anchor these controls so we can go ahead and resize this. Oops, sorry. Okay. So now we can actually start doing the networking. So in global variables, we want to make a new enum. Public enum commands as byte. So we will have in this commands start remote desktop equals 0, stop remote desktop equals 1, and before we want to receive an image equals 2. So while we have that open, I'll go ahead and paste that into the remote desktop client as well. And I'll just leave that there. Okay, so now that we have that, we can go straight back into form main and handle the start button. So for us to start the remote desktop, all we'll have to do is network actions dot send to client, and then the client that we have declared globally, and the parameters. These parameters support all primitive types, so you can put anything in here pretty much. Just nothing complicated like images or something. So we can put in commands dot image. Actually no, we want to actually just use the start remote desktop command, and that will actually send a command to the client that we want to start the remote desktop. We'll go ahead and do the same thing for the stop command. Okay. That's it for the server side for now. And we'll start doing the client side. So for the client side, we want to implement iClient main. And again with the events, I'll explain them soon. But we'll just put them in a region for now. So now we will make another constructor like we did before. We want to take network actions as a parameter. So this will be iClient network actions. And we'll go ahead and copy and paste this. And remove the underscore, just like we did in the server. And network actions equals underscore network actions. Okay. Now that we have done that, we can go ahead and start handling commands. So before we do that, we'll just create a region for handling commands. And a new function, a new sub. And just take params as object array. Okay, so in here we will want to create a new select case statement and cast params 0 to a, not to a byte, to a commands. So now we can do case commands that start remote desktop and case commands stop. Okay, so we're going to need to get a few references now. So we're going to need system.windows.forms, drawing, and I think that's about it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and import those, and import system.drawing, and we'll be needing system.io as well. Okay, so public sub handle start command and public sub handle stop command. Okay, so up here we just want to create a region for variables because we're going to need about two. Dim t as thread, just make this a null thread. I'll go ahead and import threading since it'll make our life easier. And dim sending as boolean equals false. So this is how we can tell. Basically, we're doing this so we can semi-cleanly close the thread. So on handle start command, we'll do while sending, and then we'll go ahead and create a region for remote desktop methods. So while sending, I'll just get rid of this right here. So right now we'll need a screenshot function. I'm just gonna go ahead and copy paste it right in, since This is a tutorial about plugins, not how to create a screenshot, but that's just a basic screenshot function using GDI. Nothing too complicated. And I think I'm going to have to write a quick method to convert that image to byte. So public function convert image to byte, and then take an image as byte array. Okay. Using ms as new memory stream, and then we're going to want to do image.save ms, and then imaging image format.jpg. Okay, so that'll actually we need to return ms.toArray. Okay, so that will return that would just get an image and then convert it to byte, instead of using the most popular method and converting it to base64, which is horrible in my opinion. Okay, so now that we've done that, in this while sending here, I can go ahead and do network actions and send to server commands dot image, because it's the image we're sending, and then convert image to byte, and then take screenshot. So this is a basic idea of remote desktop, just in a loop sending a screenshot. I'm not gonna, you can obviously change the quality of the screenshot, you can use some kind of algorithm to detect changes, but this is just a basic tutorial, and this is how we're going to be doing it. So for start remote desktop, we'll do t equals new thread, address of handle start command, t.start. That's all we have to do there. And for the stop remote desktop, oh, actually, you need to set sending to true. And then for the stopping, we'll set sending to false, and then we'll abort the thread, and then we'll set the thread to nothing. And we'll actually go ahead and put that in the stop command. And on the events, I cannot stress this enough, the unload event is probably the most important event. It's, if you do not use this unload event to terminate all your running threads, all your running loops, your loops will be constantly running in the background, no matter if the client, if whoever's using your plugin disables the plugin, everything will continue running. So I'll go ahead and handle stop command right there, so that will stop everything. And in case the plugin is unloaded, I'll just do a little check here. So if t is not nothing, this will just avoid a basic exception. Same for your handle stop command. Okay, so the unload command is now taken care of. Okay, so receive packet, we're going to want to get handle command and just pass params over to it. That's just when we'll receive a packet, obviously. State changed is when a new client, when you connect to the server, sorry. Just realized we're on the client side. When you connected to the server, this will be raised. But we're not going to actually have to use that in this plugin. So that is the client side actually done. We do not need to do anything else here. Okay, so now we can come back to the server side and start handling the remote desktop commands. So we'll just do handle command data, just like before. Public sub handle command params as object array, and just like before, we'll create a new select case, and then we'll cast params 0 to commands case image, because it's the only command that we're going to really have to handle. I guess we'll go into form main and making sub apply image be as byte array. Okay, so we'll go ahead and using ms as the memory stream. Oh, we need to import system IO, sorry about that. B, and then we'll picture box. Actually, we'll go ahead and invoke, because this will be called on a separate thread, and if we don't, we'll get a cross-threading exception. So picture box one.image equals image dot from stream, and then ms. So that will basically draw our image fine. Okay, so now we have main. We can go ahead and just do form main handle, not form main handle dot apply image, and then direct cast params 1 to a byte array. So now that we have handled the commands, we can go ahead and support the unload command. So here we will just want to do if not for main handle actually if for main handle is not null, then for main handle dot webs. Okay, that's all we need to do here, since we don't actually have any threads. On the sub new, we'll go ahead and call initialize GUI. And I forgot here that we actually have to add the context item. So server GUI, server GUI dot add context item, and then just pass C straight to that. And on packet received, we want to do the handle command. Okay, I think that's it. The remote desktop is being handled fine. We have our global variables. All these events are handled. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied with our plugin. So now we can go ahead and open the plugin compiler. So we have to get this directory here. Okay, so our plugin name is remote desktop. Our plugin description will be creates a new remote desktop instance with your clients. The author is me, and just put your website in here if you have one. If you don't, just put NA. Now we'll get a plugin image. So I got an image prepared for this. Make sure it's 64 by 64 for it to look best. We are now suggested to get our server plugin DLL. So that's not actually server plugin.dll. That's our server plugin that we made besides server plugin.dll. So now that we have remote desktop plugin and remote desktop client, we'll get the remote desktop client.dll. So the output, I guess, will be in our plugins folder. In Imminent Monitor's directory, it has to be in the plugins folder. And we'll just name this remote desktop. And we'll click compile, and as you see, it's compiled successfully. So now we can go ahead and actually test if our plugin works. Just one moment. Okay, so now we can go ahead and open Imminent Monitor, and as we see, our plugin is in the list. We can view plugin details, and we have all the details that we put in before. They're obviously not editable. We'll go ahead and click OK, and I'll make a new client connect. Just one moment here. Okay. So now, as you see, we don't have our plugin in the list. So we'll go ahead and enable our plugin. The plugin gets loaded on the client side, and I don't seem to see our plugin loaded. Hold on one moment. Okay, sorry about that. I was actually running an outdated version of Imminent Monitor. So now the plugin has actually been loaded, and we have our client here. So we can now test the plugin that we just made. We have our start-stop buttons, and as you see, it works. I didn't actually set the picture box to stretch image, so it may look a little strange. But as you see, the basic idea is down. If we press stop, it stops working. If we press start, it still works. So now we'll go ahead and try to unload our plugin while it's actually running. Plugins, disable plugin. As you see, we'll close the form and it will get unloaded because we handled that unload event. So congratulations, you made your first Imminent Monitor plugin. If you need any help, I'll gladly offer it. I can definitely help with your problems to do with plugins. I'm very happy to help about that. So, other than that, enjoy the new feature, and have a nice day.